can say with conviction that we do not want to exemplify that trait. Go ahead, brother. You know, who can say that? I like to think nobody. USA Today writes, the number of nearly all white communities has plummeted since 1980. Dramatic evidence that the nation's growing racial and ethnic diversity has spread far beyond metropolitan centers into small towns and rural parts of the heartland. Barrett Lee, Penn State sociologist and demographer, says the trend is pretty geographically pervasive, and even residents of small towns are encountering diversity face to face. It's not something they just read about in the newspapers anymore. The impact is striking in rural areas where white populations are shrinking as young people leave and the elderly stay and die. When minorities move in, minority kids are born and alter the dynamics. There are literally hundreds of American counties that would be losing population, which means losing economy, if it were not for minority growth. This is bringing them young people that they have been losing for a long time and new opportunities. This also warns that diversity in itself does not end segregation. This ends segregation. One of the comments on this article was diversity is a code word for privilege. Diversity was a code word for privilege. Our country was built on opportunity, not privilege. What country was, I must have missed that memo. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm patriotic, but let's not deny how things came to be. That's all I'm saying. I can't begin to say how false that statement is, but I can say that diversity breeds opportunity. But sadly, I feel a lot of folks look at diversity in that negative light. The American Association of University Professors, or the AAUP, wrote on diversity and privilege, and they wrote saying this: we need to understand how privilege works before we can make diversity work. Francis A. Marr and Mary Kay Trutrall. Efforts to diversify university faculties began almost 40 years ago. Since then, the number of white women faculty and faculty of color on U.S. campuses has grown slowly but steadily. At the same time, the explanatory framework for this shift, what we call the terms of inclusion, has changed profoundly. Diversity and excellence were once seen as opposites, and that diversity was perceived as a threat or a watering down of excellence. What does that say to you? Diversity is seen as a threat or watering down of excellence. Now, when I say watering down, the first thing that comes to my mind is diluting something. Something is more pure, you add something else to it, it dilutes it, making it less pure, or in this case, less good. And that statement in itself is just ridiculous. But at the same time, it might be ridiculous to me, but I have to understand how folks might see that and explain to them why it's not right. Give them alternatives and give them numbers and give them examples of how that's helped communities, rather than just say, no, that's not right, that's messed up. You know? In January 2000, they set out to examine efforts over the past 4 decades to diversify 3 major universities: Rutgers, Newark, Stanford, and the University of Michigan. This journey, documented in the 2007 book, Privilege and Diversity in the Academy, showed that long-standing use of the term excellence in opposition to diversity has reflected less of a commitment to academic quality than an enactment of academic privilege. That is, it reflected the power of established elites to control the norms of the academic enterprise, to keep new people, new topics, and new methodologies away. Privilege in its root meaning pertains to law, in this case often silent and unseen. That works for or against individuals and groups. We have learned that to bring a genuine range of experience and perspective to American campuses, not only must the goals of diversity and excellence be conjoined, but the operations of privilege must also deliberately be excavated and challenged. Poor white households are much more geographically dispersed than poor black or Latino households. And it's in these high poverty communities that most destructive consequences of neighborhood segregation and social exclusion are evident. Massey and Glenn, 1993. Racially diverse neighborhoods provide opportunities for exposure and interactions between whites and minorities, which appears to contribute to greater tolerance, fair-mindedness, and openness to diverse settings and networks. For example, research proves that residents from diverse neighborhoods express less racial and ethnic prejudice. In Hancock and Scafidi, 2002. Studies in higher education find that white and minority students benefit both academically and socially from a racially and ethnically diverse university community. Racial diversity leads to more complex thinking among students, as well as improves academic outcomes and social growth. The evidence is overwhelming. I got this article from a magazine called She the People. Now, the reason I'm telling you this stuff is because that aspect, that was the school and the community aspect. Now I want to tell you the economic aspect. Companies that put a priority on innovation are worth more, this is for my ladies in the crowd, are worth more when a woman held top leadership positions. These companies are $44 million more valuable on average. Global companies with at least one woman on the board have higher average returns on equity, lower debt ratios, and better average growth, according to a study of more than 2,000 global companies. Yeah, women are minorities too. Wall Street traders set prices more accurately, meaning that financial asset bubbles may be less likely to form when all of the other traders don't look like them. Specifically, ethnically diverse groups become 21% more accurate over time, while ethnically similar groups become 33% less accurate. Scientific research is of a higher quality when done by an adverse research group. People work harder, people are more creative and more diligent. They work with when they work with or around a diverse group of people, according to Catherine W. Phillips, professor and senior vice dean at Columbia Business School. Now, I always get the question, why is it okay for y'all to say nigga, even though, and we can't? Even though I really don't want to go into this, because I feel it wavers from the topic, I'm sure some of you too would be too, like, well, who cares? But if it's a question that keeps getting asked, I'm not even going to answer. To my best ability. You know, if I want you to be open-minded, I got to be open-minded in return. It's patience. First of all, we don't run around telling each other, hey, nigger. We don't say that. It's nigger. I'm going to tell you that. You can say it's the same word, but it's different. Second of all, we don't all do that. So when you say that, first of all, you're assuming I'm the national black spokesperson. And I just had a meeting with everybody and I got the answer. Second of all, like, again, why do you care? Is it a privilege? What do you think you're missing out on something? I really don't understand it. And I'm going to tell you my viewpoint as far as the passionate viewpoint I see it. And I mean, like I said, I'm not the national black spokesperson. There can be folks in here that disagree, but this is me. Okay, first of all, there was a term that was meant to hurt, to dehumanize, to make feel less than. So when it's took and contorted, basically it's like somebody's got a sword, you take their sword, and now you got the sword. So this word is a sword. So it got turned from a weapon into a term of endearment. And another thing, I've heard more white people say it lately than black people. Look on Facebook, all these pictures with because when you put these pictures with the words on Facebook, you're saying what that says. That you represent that. Unless you put in connotations next to it, oh, look at this is messed up, or I disagree with this. But when you post it and you say LOL, and you tag somebody to it, and it's got that word, oh, this is my nigga, me and my nigga. I'm seeing little white girls, middle-aged white women, all kinds of people put that crap up. So why don't you ask them? Why is that cool? You know? Because I mean, honestly, up here, I'm not running into black folks all the time, just coming up to you, hey, what's up, nigga, what's going on? No, that's not happening. So quit assuming that that's the only way that we know how to communicate with each other and show a term of endearment, because we have a lengthy vocabulary. But if we choose to do that, it's really none of your business. And also, I hear, why is it okay to say honky, but nigger's not cool? So, first of all, we ain't running around calling people honkies. this is it's just not happening. I mean, I might say jerk or something, or I'm not gonna say that. I mean, this is a term that was popularized by the media, generally in the 70s with the Jefferson Show. Okay, this was entertainment. So it just goes to show how much information people get about us from TV, and that's it. We're not running around, yeah, man, that damn honky. It's not about, man. No. Second of all, how about I just give you the benefit of the doubt? Okay, we do. Let's just say, let's not even argue. Let's say, all right, it's going on. It's happening all over. We're saying it. It seems to be the common ideology amongst those. Okay, let me just read this because this goes into it. Amongst those opposed to the flag being took down is, hey, blacks, we're not offended by honky, and George Jefferson saying it. Why are you so offended by nigger and the flag of Dukes of Hazzard? For the record, I don't think anybody gives a crap about Dukes of Hazzard. I don't. Like I said, if you want to watch it, it's on. Just order. You can get it. TV Land did that. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the two words, honky and nigger. The history of hate associated with the flag, first of all, is evident. So don't get mad at us, get mad at the Civil War. But get mad at the people using that flag as a symbol for white power, which is pretty much what it originally meant. It was took down as a distraction, I believe, like throwing a dog a bone. If you stink, you don't spray cologne. You take a shower, you get the dirt off, you get to the base. That's how I feel about it. So let's actually wash and address the disparity and hate, rather than just spray some smell good and take the flag down. Let's discuss why. I don't care about the flag being took down unless the issues that are represented and still do today are addressed. If being a rebel is such a priority, just be one. Start by distancing yourself from the masses who are so mad at it being took down. Because you actually know why it was created. That's pretty rebellious. Be rebellious by seeing how much it hurts some people. And newsflash, being offended is not a weakness. Being docile while being offended is a weakness. Being unaware is a weakness. Being uneducated is a weakness, whether school or self-taught. And if you have black friends, cool. Cool, dude. I don't care. I mean, I really don't care. You guys can joke, because I get this, all my other black friends, they let me joke about this. And joke, well, that's them. I mean, cool, I really don't know what to tell you. I'm not them, they're not me. Guess what? Just like you're different, so are we. We're all unique. One black person does not represent the views of all. Why must one black person be the ambassador for all? And I have friends of different races I can joke with about stuff. But this comes from respect, and it's a rapport, and it's earned both ways. It goes both ways. And, you know, built through time and understanding. But some may never be that comfortable. So don't just go find your minority friend and try to build up the rapport to the day you can finally joke with them like that. Because some people will never be comfortable enough. That's on them. And they have the right to be offended by anything. We have different paths, you know, different lives, different experiences. There will never be a day when the word nigga does not make my blood boil and I want to crush your larynx. Never. I automatically feel violent right away. That's just me though. It doesn't make me weak, it makes me proud. It makes me a warrior who stands for something rather than simply existing with no purpose or direction. Being passionate is a beautiful trait. Being indifferent is uninvolved, unmoved. No one has the right to tell someone else they have no right to be offended. Why would honky offend anyone? Honestly, look at the history and meaning behind it. Okay, now honky, I don't use the word, but for the sake of argument, bear with me. Few words in any language can match nigger for connotations of hate, fear, racism, murder. Now add violence, cruelty, and ugliness, and you start to get the idea. Honky is nothing. Really comparing honky to the N-word is like comparing a rug burn to a gunshot wound. If honky's emotional impact is equivalent to the physical pain of a jellyfish sting, then surely the N-word carries the pain of a leather whip repeatedly beaten against bare skin, leaving mental scars still prevalent today. Honky sounds almost comical, even stupid. Call someone the H word and they might Here you're going to say, serious? Is that the best you can come up with? I mean, realistically, it's just not used generally or even remotely as much as new. Does honky bring up images of people who look and sound like you, suffering the soul-wrenching loss of self-identity while being bought and sold at a slave auction? How about seeing your family members ripped apart in chains? Honky has no substance and no sting, but the N-word conjures up an everlasting minute glimpse into the man-made hell. Also, we all know there are far more movies with the word nigger repeatedly than honky. Imagine how it feels to sit through those movies. There's a reason I waited to go see Django and 12 Years a Slave until I was in the comfort of my own home. Because I didn't want to hear all the crap going all around me. Now, I know there's not too many of us in here tonight, but I'm going to talk to the black folks tonight. And before I do, I'm going to say a little story. There once was a man who had never seen, and actually, I'm saying it just to the black folks, this is to minorities, all of us. There was once a man who had never seen an eagle. One day, a magnificent eagle landed on his windowsill. And when he saw it, he exclaimed, "What an ugly creature." The man grabbed the eagle and pulled it into the house. "First, I'm going to fix that curved beak of yours." He used a file to remove the hook in the eagle's beak. "Those claws are vicious looking," the man said. He clipped the eagle's claws until there was little left. When he finished, the man said, "There, now you look better." And he put the bird back on the open windowsill and shooed it away. Now, can you imagine how long that newly trimmed eagle lasted in the wild? Now, I say this because that's what is happening to us. Anytime we want to express ourselves or be different, be who we are, they just hate us because of our curved beaks and our talents. And you can't take that away from us. That's part of us. And herein comes, I mean, you can't just win it saying, "Oh, we're all the same, I just look at people all the same and we just all need to get along and not look at color." I mean, that would be a beautiful world, but it's too late for all that. It's too late. We just can't just X out everything that happened. So therefore, we appreciate differences. We appreciate stuff that's different. You know, instead of trying to make somebody be like us, or look like us, or dress like us, or drive the same type of cars like us. Now, to the black folks here and other minorities, we have a lot of stereotypes that are fed to us about us. One is that we got to keep it real and be hard all the time. But keeping it real is doing the right thing. And the media would like you to think that we as a people do not get along because of the need to look hard or have that persona. But a real man doesn't have to look real. People know he is real by interaction and watching how he facilitates through adversity. Because when it hits the fan, people change. And that's how you know what people are about. Now, my whole life, it's just an unwritten rule. When you see another brother around, you say, "What's up?" You say hello. That's just the way I grew up, no matter where you are. Especially when you're up here. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just an unspoken, "I see you, I know what you're doing." But we don't got that here. It's an unspoken camaraderie that we need to do in this community and in the nation. We will never be where we aspire to be without the way of disrespecting each other, holding us down. So when you see each other around town, say, "Hey man, how you doing?" You ain't got to go all in and ask, "Hey, how was your day? What are you doing at 3 o'clock? All that. You know what I mean? You don't have to, because you might not be the most social person. That's fine. So, you know, that might not be a gift, but at least just give a nod, say, "Hey, how you doing?" Recognition, I know you're not invisible. You know, like it or not, we're on the verge of something here. I feel like every era has something like, damn, they can either go this way or they can go that way. And right now, as a people, we're on the verge of something right now. All colors, all of us. It's either change or die. So black folks here tonight, I stress to you, please take pride in yourself. Black folks and Native Americans, take pride in yourself. We have to be careful. Any little thing you do just perpetuates that which you strive so hard to get away from. And I'm not saying don't be you. I'm not saying don't be proud. You know, I'm saying be you and be proud. If you wouldn't be proud of it, don't do it. You think because you're in a small town, you got to be this and be that because that's how they see you and that's how they perceive you? Man, be you. If you weren't a gangster at home, don't be a gangster here. And if you were a gangster at home, this ain't the place. You know what I mean? You came here to grow. You came here to evolve, and you came here to get a different perspective. I wanted to speak to some college students here. I invited them, but they're not here. But that was part of what I want to say. Especially college, like you came here for a reason. You know, and you get to leave home for college. You know how many of my friends never got that chance, but had so much potential? And being black is not a shade of skin. It's not being gangster, it's not a style, it's not a slang, it's not swag, it's not a trend, it's not a bloodline. It's what's in your heart. And it's knowing that you will always have to wait. You're always waiting to be disrespected simply because of that. That's what being black is.